The Human Target, issue number 10. We are nearing the end of this story, which makes sense. We've been at it for a while. We were on hiatus. We've now reached the double digits of the book, meaning after this issue, two more left, and we're headed to the Green Lantern world this time. Every issue, we're kind of playing with a new member of the Justice League International book. You know, the really fun Justice League book a lot of people love. Let's hang out with Gnort for a bit. Yeah, it's cool. So issue 10, one of the best covers of the book. I say that every time. I think the span from 8, 9, 10 has been some of the best covers for this book, and this one's awesome. Just gives off some great energy. It's so fun. So we're headed to Gnort, but before that, Christopher has to do something he doesn't really think is the best thing to do. So we open up this book. He's pouring a couple of drinks. He's got 3 days left to live. He pops a pill into one of the drinks and hands it to Ice. And the idea that we're presenting here is that he needs to get away from her for a bit. You know, he loves this girl. Everyone's going great. Everything's having fun. You know? Has to knock her out for a bit, so they kiss. She collapses onto the bed. He tucks her in kind of, and then he slips away because guess what? Dude's gotta go talk to Gnort. So he does. And this is a Gnort issue. And if you don't know who that is, just imagine if there was a really shitty Green Lantern, like even worse than the ones you know, who was just built to be a joke. You know, and the way Smallwood draws like Gnort is like, he's got a beer belly, he's got like a double chin, thick mustache, this like your classic country bumpkin looking guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I will give you that. It's an interpretation I dig. Very fun to see. So he's like, wait, what do I got to do with anything going on here? So why did Christopher come see Gnort? Well, he's like, I think Guy faked his death. I can't really prove it, but I need to figure out what that is and why that happened. So I need to find like all the information I can on Green Lanterns. And in order to do that, I need somebody who is going to be overlooked by the Green Lantern community. Like you, Gnort. Nobody's going to really care what you're doing. So will you help me with this thing? And this guy, he's just like, I have nothing else going on. I'm living in a cabin, just drinking a couple of beers with some posters of beautiful women on the walls. So I get lost sometimes there, Christopher, trying to get back to Oa. So I have a special door I can walk through that'll take me right to Oa. Because I can't fly there, I'll get lost. And I'm like, yep, you're making this guy a joke. I don't care. Like, do it. That's a great idea. I have a lot of reverence for Gnort just being like a silly cartoon, so that's fine. When you do it that way, I'm on board for it. So we're going to sneak Christopher onto Oa with Gnort. I love that so much. So we do get like a recap of kind of the book where it's just like Christopher's like, I got 10 days to live. I took the wrong drink. I got poisoned. Thought we murdered a guy. He might still be alive. Why did Ice do that to me? Is Ice leading me on? Maybe. But let's go off world and let's go to Oa. So they go to Oa. Gnort takes him to like the archive room of records. He's like, normally people who like aren't Green Lanterns can't come in here. Like I got a big scolding last time I did something bad from like Superman himself. So don't tell anybody I let you in here. And they just start walking around. And Gnort's like, yeah, man, I should have paid more attention. But how like this system works and where we find everything when it was orientation. But I was like bored and I fell asleep. Hindsight though, you know. But yeah, the ring knows a thing or two about where we can locate stuff. I really love that Christopher is just leading him on this entire time by getting him nice and liquored up. Hands him a flask to get him drunk while he studies the records. So Gnort starts to drink. Christopher starts examining a bunch of stuff, looking through Guy's records, which are just like green envelopes that can be projected. Nothing about him dying is present. But then Christopher's like, okay, if we got everyone's file, they got a file on me here? So then Christopher reads his own file. The events of his mother, the events of his father, the events when he started doing training, his first kill, and then his first time he wore a fake identity, and then every other thing. We get a nice page of just like green, like dotted colors, just like every time he's killed someone leading up to the events of the previous day. And I'm like, that is so cool. Like, that is beautiful and fun. Yes, it does fill some time for the book, but it's so beautiful and gorgeous to look at. And this is what you want. This is like what you want from this book, so I have no problems with that whatsoever. And then we see Christopher reads all about himself. He's like, a whole life and nothing more, a father who loved me, 1,000 deaths, a woman who loves me, and then what? 3 days. I'm so fucking scared. That's really cool, where it's like, we haven't really acknowledged like his fear of what's coming. He's killed a lot of people but doesn't know what like death means, and that's kind of a cool concept to play with. So he starts carrying Canard out of like the room of records. One of the Guardian comes up to like scold him, like, you have to sign the proper paperwork if you're going to access this. And Canard's like, what are you talking about? Is that something they said at orientation? And then he vomits in the room, gets him on the Guardian. It's like, are you serious? You're inebriated in the Sacred Hall of Records, you piece of shit. And then Canard just kicks him. And he's like, I'll probably get in trouble for that, but we'll deal with that later. So they just leave. They go to a local pharmacy, and Canard's like, sobering up a little bit, but he is also just being, the Guardians aren't the best guys themselves. Sure, I'll get a scolding later. That doesn't matter. But if I just lay low, do my own thing, who cares? Everybody's happy for it. We're doing great. We're at a pharmacy, and we see that Christopher grabs some peanut butter, and he has to get something else from like the pharmaceutical rep, so he does that. They leave for the day, and they head over to a bar called Kevin and Keefe's. Clearly a reference to the people that wrote the JLI book, which is a really fun thing. So they walk into this bar. There's somebody playing some pool, sinking the 8-ball. Uh-oh, he's got a Green Lantern ring. Uh-oh, it's Guy Gardner. Yep, Guy did fake his death. Why? Who knows? And I love that Christopher's like, he had enough time to escape the entire world for like the past month. He could have gone anywhere, and he only went 20 minutes away from where he faked his death. So they show up, and Canard's like, hey, what's up, buddy? He's like, oh, shit. And it's like, sees Christopher like, oh, shit, this is great. What are you guys doing here? What is all this? Guy's clearly angry. Canard's like, dude, there was an alert that you like were in a dimension somewhere. Do you know about that? That's kind of weird. And then Guy's like, just shut up, dude, and slaps Canard, knocking him out again. The dude's sleeping, and Christopher is just like, all right, dude, was that really called for? He was just trying to help. Looks like they're about to fight again. A Christopher and Guy rematch is definitely on the horizon. It's like no ring, no nothing. And you just see Christopher punches him in the nose, beats him up a couple times. But then the ring, of course, has like the instinctive thing to protect its user, and is about to get punched in the face, but Christopher slaps him and puts something on his hand that freaks Guy out. Very fun. And what I love about that is that Christopher gives us the narration. It's like, yeah, I get it. The ring can do a lot. It's very powerful. It's going to protect the guy that wields it, but you also got to remember the person that is wielding the ring. So let's say that person is arrogant and has some masculinity issues, and any sign of weakness could be affected by it. So if you were to put that in your record book, you would fudge a few things. Maybe the fact that you have a peanut allergy. So he has peanut butter on his hands, slaps Guy in the face, pulls out an EpiPen that he got from a doctor. He's like, okay, I had to get paperwork for this. It's all good. I'll give you the shot. You just got to tell me why you're alive. He's like, deal? Hey, deal? We got a deal there, Guy? Thumbs up from Guy? Okay, looks like we're off to the races. I'm like, that's very fun. I dig that immensely. So, what happened? We cut back to the motel. Ice wakes up, and she's asking what happened. Christopher just says, I drugged you. I needed to talk to Guy. Guy is actually not dead. And what happened? Well, he played the fool for a bit. He went along with your ride because you did exactly what he told him, Maybe he thought he'd get back with you if he did this for you. So you asked him to fake his death using the ring and some weird light tricks. So why don't you tell me what's going on here? And she lied to Christopher. Hands her another drink, and the book ends with a toast to the two of us. And I love that. And now, are things coming together? Or are we sensing some things coming together? Feels like we are, right? I've said this kind of earlier on in the book, I'm still under the impression, or the train of thought, I should say, that Ice and Fire are doing like a Thelma and Louise, kind of like burning all their bridges, but she accidentally fell in love with Christopher, and now things aren't looking great. I think that's where we're going with this. I could be completely off, but who's to say? It's brilliant nonetheless. Like, this book has done some very interesting things, and I do appreciate it for that. Very cool. This was fun. Seeing Canard show up was really cool. Just taking the minute to be like, oh, Christopher is actually scared. Again, the artwork is fantastic. The use of different greens in here is really fun to see. Just a strong outing. And this book, I'm sorely going to miss it when it goes away, because it's just doing something next level, in my opinion. Just something so strong and creative and so fun and original. Such a cool read. This book was great. I love seeing Human Target. Canard was so fun. Is it just me, or does Canard look like he's drawn slightly to look like Mitch Gerrard's, you know? Does he have like the big bushy mustache and beard of Mitch? I think maybe a little fun, just making him look kind of silly that way. It's very cool. So the Human Target issue number 10, I am going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Hive, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.